Okay, so we have Kim as our ASL. So I would like to welcome everyone and introduce to you and thank you for coming today, Russell Johnson.
Thank you so much. Really a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm so grateful for the work that you do on behalf of our students all across the state. And really, I think it's about how important it is for parents and school districts to work together. And there's no time that's more important for that to happen than right now. And so as you all continue to embark on your important work as ed surrogate parents and really thinking about the ways in which you can support students during this very difficult time. I just want to let you know that we at the department really value the work that you do, and I hope that you see the value that we place on parents overall in the documents that we put out to support the reopening of schools. And so, if you look at the guidance that we released on July 7th to make sure that schools and districts knew what their obligations were for this new school year, we really emphasized effective two-way communication and engagement between schools and parents. And we really wanted to make sure that we built some structure around that by creating the COVID-19 Special Education Learning Plan. It's meant to be documenting the conversation that happens between families and teachers about the ways in which special education services will be provided during this school year. So, I hope that you've had a chance to become aware of that emphasis on, just documenting how services are being provided and how they might be provided differently, because this is such a time for adaptability that has to happen, and really engagement around that adaptability so that it's done effectively for our students. We've also put a real emphasis on in-person learning for our, I should pause and see what's going on with the volume. Do you know if I'm okay?
Sound great.
Okay, all right. Okay, just saw the comments coming in. I would also encourage you, if you haven't had a chance, to take a look at the parent materials that we released, such as the back to school letter that we sent to families of children with disabilities. And also of very high importance is the need to be able to look at students' eligibility for compensatory services from last year, particularly students who didn't get services maybe that they should have been provided, or who severely regressed or didn't meet their IEP goals. We put out a lot of the documents that we put out are really geared towards schools and districts, but we try to, at various junctures, develop parent-friendly materials, such as the letter that we wrote for all families to explain essentially, how things should be operating at the beginning of this school year, as well as the fact sheet that we released around compensatory services. And both are available on our website and translated into 16 languages, so that families can really understand this is such a tricky part of going back and looking at what happened last spring. So we wanted to make sure it was written so that families could understand it as well, and hopefully very clear language. I know the document is still long, but we felt like parents needed to know what their options are as it relates to looking back at last year. Schools and districts know that students with complex and significant disabilities are meant to be prioritized for conversations about compensatory services. And so those meetings should be happening by December 15th. So I hope that, if you are, supporting students who have more severe disabilities in particular, or preschool age students, that hopefully those meetings are getting scheduled. And if they aren't, I hope that you find the fact sheet helpful to you in terms of your advocacy with school districts, the way in which you are representing your children to the districts, to make sure that you are able to use hopefully language that will get the right connection to happen to support your children. So I just, again, I just wanted to briefly bring you an overview of, the types of guidance that we've put out and the work that we've been doing to support families and to support our students as we work through a very challenging year. The final thing that I'll mention is that what lies ahead for us in special education is our work around the IEP improvement project to develop a more family-friendly IEP. I am the parent of a child with a disability, and I know that when I went to my son's IEP meeting for the very first time when he was in 3rd grade, the team turned to me and said, "Now we're going to talk about PLEP A." And I thought, well, that's strange. That why would they? Do they know what I do? That they would talk to me in terminology that's, just taken right off the form, as opposed to talking to me about it in a kind of parent-friendly way, in a way that I can understand, what PLEP A is. And what I realize is this isn't the teacher's fault. They didn't create words like PLEP A. We did. The state came up with a name like that. And it's one of the pieces of the IEP process. And it's really about what are the accommodations that students need? How can we help students access learning better? And to put it in kind of clearer terms, hopefully like that, I think will really help to support parents' participation in the IEP process. And so we are right now engaging with stakeholders around the documents that we are developing to describe the IEP process, right from eligibility all the way through IEP development to ultimately exiting from the IEP process. And so we have a variety of parents and caregivers and advocates, as well as school-based personnel, giving us feedback so that we develop documents that are as kind of clear and user-friendly as possible, and that are based on the best evidence, because we want not only a parent-friendly IEP process, but we also want a way of helping families understand, what is the student's progress, and how are we using data to make decisions about the student's, development, and how do we make sure that we have a very student-centric IEP, a very student-centered IEP, so that it really tracks where the student is developmentally, what age are they, what grade are they in, and also what type of disability might they have, so that we really bring the two together in ways that we just haven't been able to in the past. So while we're still really much dealing with the situation with COVID and working to get as much in-person learning as we can for students that's safe, and making sure that when students are learning at home remotely, that learning is as strong as it can be, we're also really working towards creating a better IEP process for all families, and that we hope to release that information, more about that information in the coming months ahead. So we're working hard at DESE, and I know that you are too. I know that I'm working hard as a parent. I don't think I've ever had to work harder in my life, in all regards, both in the ways in which we are having to support our children at home, as well as the work that we're trying to do from our homes in some cases, and also going out to our job sites. And so I just really appreciate everything that you are doing to find that balance, so that you can be that presence for the children who you have the privilege to serve, who I have the privilege to serve, so that we can bring out the best that's in each of them. I have such hope for the future when I see our children, and I know you do too. I know that's why you're here doing this work. So I just appreciate that we are in this together. And I thank you for your attention being here today, so that we can all do this good work on behalf of the wonderful children of Massachusetts. So thank you very much for this invitation. I hope you have a great rest of the day.